Today marks officially 3 years since I chose to get sober. I was addicted to alcohol. I was a daily drinker for years. Struggled with hope and purpose and just the will to live a life full of joy. I just truly believed that that was not the hand that I was dealt in life, so that it was never something that was going to happen for me. I always knew that addiction was going to be part of my story and my journey after watching my mom struggle with her addiction on and off for 20 years. My dad lose his life to his, and my biological dad never get help for his addictions. You could have never convinced me that after all the examples that had been put right in front of my face, that somehow I would fall into the disease of addiction as well. But ultimately I did, and that's what happens when you have trauma that isn't addressed, when you have mental health issues that aren't addressed, when you live in a place of poverty, when you don't grow up with resources, or you at least don't know how to get access to those resources. Since getting sober, I have found healthy ways to grieve the friendships that I had lost. I have found a way to cope with my father's death. I have found the joy in the small things. I have found gratitude in the simplest of moments. I have had a multitude of diagnoses, health and mental health related, that I now am able to approach with a responsible medical team behind me to make decisions that ultimately can help me be the best version of myself. I remember making a video a few years ago, crying in the grocery store parking lot, wondering how people did it, how people had motivation, how they felt normal. And looking back, I know that I was so sick physically. Of course, I didn't have energy. I was draining my body of all nutrients, of all will to be able to be strong. And mentally, I was in the worst place that I had ever been in. At the time, though, it made the most sense to me that people were just better off than me. They had a better life than me. They had less trauma than me. They had more resources than me. I constantly thought of myself as a victim of life, and that mindset will keep you sick. I now know with reflection and therapy and work and faith and spirituality and mindfulness that my father, my biological father, will always be a victim. He will always have things in life happening to him and not for him. Until you are truly and fully able to see that life is not out to get you, which is a hard thing to do if you're depending on a substance, you can't get better. I really didn't think that in sobriety I was going to own a business and live out my dream of being a content creator, making money online and sharing my story and writing a book and making art for people to look at and have more time to take care of my home and my health and the relationships around me, and to remember memories and to feel feelings. I had no idea that that was all going to come in this journey. I really just thought, if I don't try this, I'm not going to be around much longer. I often struggle with not only the shame and guilt I feel from the things that I did when I drank, the choices that I made, the behavior that I exuded, the person that I allowed myself to be using that substance, but I often, in my sobriety, think about all of the time in my life that I have wasted. My dad died when he was 35, and that is such a short blip of time on this planet. If the end of my life were also to be 35, I would have less than 7 years left, and I spent over 4 of it addicted to drinking alcohol. I was numb not only to the bad things, but to all of the good things, and I think that is my biggest regret. The time that I have been here, that I have wasted being. When I struggle with the emotions and the mental health ailments that I have now, I just think how lucky I am to be able to even feel these things. How lucky I am to be alive. How lucky I am to try new things, to learn new things, and to continue making memories with the people that I am surrounded by. I'm 3 years sober, and here's to hopefully 100 more.